Welcome to episode 7 of Hospitality Reinvented. I'm Doug Radkey, your host and a hospitality coach and consultant that is passionate about transforming this industry. Now, before we dive deep into this episode, I want you to quickly imagine this situation. A guest considers and then walks into your restaurant or your hotel, and every touch point, from the way that they booked their table or their room to how they were greeted and checked in, to how they experience their entire stay, is seamless, it's intuitive, and it is downright memorable. Now, imagine the opposite. Clunky or slow digital systems, a frustrated employee, and a guest experience that feels very impersonal, rushed, or very chaotic. What makes the difference here? One is going to think that it is just the technology that's used, but here's the thing. It's actually how that more positive imagined experience that I mentioned, how they bridge the gap between people and technology. And this is what I want to talk about today. Today, we are talking about something that has been both an incredible asset and a major source of friction for many operators out there. And that is technology and the gap between the flashy new tech and their staff. I think we can all agree that technology in hospitality has evolved very drastically, from online reservations and bookings to mobile ordering to the Internet of Things or IoT to self-check-in systems and AI-powered, guest personalization, just to name a few. It has undoubtedly revolutionized operations. But let's face it, it has also created challenges, particularly when it comes to integrating tech into this human or people-centered nature of our industry. So in this episode, we'll explore why this gap between people and technology exists, how to build a bridge that benefits both your guests and your team, and how technology should amplify, not replace, the fundamentals of hospitality. We'll even discuss some actionable steps here that you can take to create a seamless integration of both tech and people in your operation. But first things first, hospitality is and always will be a people-first industry. We've talked about this a little bit in many of the first few episodes here. At its core, hospitality is about self-awareness, guest awareness, connection, authenticity, anticipation, alignment, and also presence. No app, device, or software can fully replace the hospitality or the attentiveness of a well-trained team member. But here's the catch. Technology can enhance those human connections only if it is used strategically. So where do operators often go wrong? They let technology lead rather than letting it support. If your technology feels like a barrier, if it is confusing or challenging to use for guests, or if it is frustrating for your staff, it's failing its purpose. This is why we must focus on aligning technology with our people-first values. Your team's comfort with technology is as important as your guest's experience with it. A server who struggles with some clunky POS system, or a front desk agent that is battling some glitchy check-in software while the guest stands right in front of them, isn't set up to deliver great hospitality or even a positive guest experience. So why does this gap exist? I was thinking just the other day about this, and here are a few common reasons that I believe that this happens. So first, it is the resistance to change. I think we can agree that the hospitality industry is deeply rooted in tradition, and sometimes there's a reluctance to adopt new technology. There's also the lack of training. I believe that many operators invest in tech, but fail to invest in comprehensive team training that it needs, leaving the employees, very overwhelmed or frustrated. Then there is also often no buy-in from the team, which is a huge mistake. There's also the poor integrations. Technology is often introduced in silos, creating disjointed systems that fail to communicate with each other. So bars, restaurants, and hotels must have a fully integrated tech stack playbook created to ensure that all of the integrations are communicating with one another and with purpose. And then there is the cost over perception. I believe that some operators view technology as a cost rather than an investment, as they think they have to have it just for the sake of having it, which leads to, underwhelming or some inadequate solutions that are being implemented. It's the wrong mindset to have going into determining whether or not to introduce new technology. Now, understanding these challenges is just step one in bridging that gap. So now that we know the challenges, how do we build the bridge? Here are 3 key pillars that you can look to focus on right away with your team. The first one is to consider adopting guest-forward technology first. Think of technology as an extension of the guest experience. Self-check-in, mobile apps, and AI-powered recommendations, they're great, but only if they make the experience more seamless and enjoyable. The tech should feel natural, not forced. It should blend right into the experience without being noticeable. All right, next, you want to empower your team and align the technology with your staff. While there are some very tech forward and even tech only brands out there on the market, let's not forget that for the majority, your employees are still the backbone of your operations. So if they don't feel comfortable with the technology, it's going to show. So you have to invest in continuous ongoing training and then create also a feedback loop to understand what's working and what is not working. Explain the why and then also the how. You must get full buy-in from your team for the integration of technology to work. And in addition to keeping up with technology, skill enhancement is going to play a crucial role in personal development moving forward. Key skills for hospitality staff must now include digital literacy, adaptability, and emotional intelligence on top of the core values that your team members should come to understand during onboarding. So for digital literacy, ensure that your employees can navigate and utilize various digital platforms and tools that are out there. And for adaptability, it's also essential in this fast-paced industry where change is constant, enabling your staff to adjust quickly to new processes and technologies. And then, emotional intelligence. This involves understanding and managing one's emotions and those of others is particularly important in hospitality where guest services and interaction are absolute paramount. Developing these skills through targeted training programs, along with proper onboarding of those that fit your values, can really enhance the staff performance and the guest satisfaction very significantly in your operations. And to take this even a step further, personal development initiatives can greatly influence staff motivation and also retention by investing in the continuous growth and the development of your employees. Creating effective training programs is 100% a critical step in this integration. These training programs, they should include comprehensive education on technology and AI, and this will help ensure that your staff are not only familiar with the new tools, but they are also confident in using them. By fostering a culture of continuous learning and development, despite the enhancements in technology, your business can create a motivated and loyal workforce that is committed to delivering exceptional guest experiences. And finally, sorry, I kind of went off there on the staff side of all of this, but the third pillar to this is that you want to integrate thoughtfully. Technology works best when it is part of a cohesive system. So that means that you will want to choose the tools and the systems that integrate with your existing operations and options that are scalable with you as your business continue to grow. This ensures that there is a more unified experience for both your guests and your staff. You want to conduct an audit of your existing systems and processes, both tech-based and non-tech-based systems. You want to gather feedback from your staff and then set clear objectives for integration. A very thorough assessment helps create a strategic playbook that aligns the technology advancements with the development needs of your staff, again, ensuring that there's this cohesive approach. All right. Now let's talk about some examples here. If you've been watching or listening to the show, you will see a theme happening where I try to show examples of how the point of discussion works in bars, works in restaurants, and works in hotels. So let's start with bars. At their core, bars are about connection, whether it's between guests and bartenders or among just the guests themselves. But technology often gets a bad reputation in these spaces, with some thinking that it diminishes the human element. And this couldn't be further from the truth when it is used correctly. Imagine a bar where the POS system doesn't just process payments, but becomes an extension of the guest experience. A well-integrated tech stack could collect data on a guest drink preference over time. Now, say a regular comes in and loves trying new IPAs or enjoys a classic Negroni. The system flags this, and when they sit down, the bartender greets them with, "Hey, we just got a new IPA on tap. I think you're going to love it." This doesn't mean the bartender, loses their creativity. Instead, it helps empower them. It eliminates the guesswork, enabling them to focus on delivering a personalized experience. It's the perfect blend here of technology assisting the art of hospitality. The key here is training. Technology isn't replacing the bartender, it's making their job easier and faster and more accurate. Staff need to see this as a tool that enhances their craft, not as a crutch or a competitor even. And with the right mindset, you create a space where the efficiency of tech meets the warmth of human interaction. Now, for restaurants face a unique challenge, balancing the complexity of operations with the need for seamless guest experiences. Now, this technology that's out there can address, inefficiencies, but only if it's implemented thoughtfully and supported by the people who know how to use it. Take the example of digital table management systems. These tools can really optimize table turnover. They can monitor wait times, and they even predict when a table will be ready based on the ordering and dining patterns. Sounds great, right? But the magic happens when the system is integrated into the team's full workflow. Imagine a host team who, when armed with this system, can walk up to a guest and say, "Your table will be ready in exactly 7 minutes. Why don't we set you up at the bar in the meantime?" That level of precision sets expectations and builds trust. Now the guest isn't annoyed or unsure. They feel cared for and informed. But here's the catch. The human element cannot be automated. That host team needs the emotional intelligence to, empathize with the guest's needs. Technology provides the data, but the staff member brings the elements of hospitality, turning what could have been a transactional moment into an opportunity to build a long-lasting relationship. Now, for this to work, your team must feel the ownership of the tech and its role in the service delivery. And that requires, consistent training and communication, ensuring that the system becomes a partner, not just an obstacle. Now, for hotels. Hotels are inherently complex ecosystems, from housekeeping to concierge to F&B outlets to spas. Every department has its own rhythm. Technology in hotels often centers around streamlining operations, but the true value here lies in creating a more personalized and guest experience that leads with anticipation. Take a very robust CRM type system connected to smart room technology, for example. Imagine a guest books a stay at your hotel and notes that they are celebrating their anniversary. Now, before they arrive, the system flags this information and relays it to the front desk and the housekeeping team. Now, upon check-in, the reception and concierge team welcomes the couple with, "Happy anniversary. We've upgraded you to a suite with a complimentary bottle of champagne that's waiting for you in your room." Now, in the room, The guest adjusts the lighting and the temperature using their phone as well. The system remembers their preference, so the next time that they stay, their room is going to be fully ready for them to their ideal conditions upon arrival. This complete level of service builds loyalty, but it hinges on training staff to use the tech as an extension of their hospitality. Without proper onboarding and a culture that embraces, both technology and that human connection, all of these tools that I just said, they're going to fall flat. Hotels must also maintain flexibility. Some guests are going to embrace, self-check-in. Others will want to speak with a front desk agent. So the secret here is offering both options seamlessly, giving guests the choice to tailor their experience to their preference. These examples really show that technology should simplify operations while elevating the human interaction, not fully replacing it. The key takeaways here are this. Technology isn't replacing hospitality. It's redefining it. And when used well, it enhances human connection rather than diminishing it. Successful integration relies on those two key pillars: effective training and a culture that views technology as a partner, not a threat. Always prioritize people. Tech should simplify operations and amplify the warmth and the personalization that your team delivers. Now, looking ahead, the future of hospitality, technology, it's exciting. From AI-driven personalization to super deep and involved, blockchain-based loyalty type programs, there's a lot out there and the possibilities are endless. But no matter how advanced technology gets, one thing will remain constant: the need for human connection. The operators who win in this industry will be the ones who balance innovation with authenticity, who see technology as a tool to amplify the guest experience, not just as a replacement for it. So where do we go from here? Take a step back and assess your current tech landscape. Are your systems enhancing your operation, or are they causing friction? Are your employees empowered to use technology, or are they confused and frustrated by it? Remember, the goal is to create a seamless bridge between people and technology. When completed correctly, this bridge can lead to happier guests, more productive teams, and a more profitable business. Thank you for tuning in to episode 7 of Hospitality Reinvented. If you're looking for ways to integrate tech into your operation without losing that human touch, reach out. I would love to help. You can also book a 60-minute impact session with me over at krghospitality.com. And don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with anyone in the industry who needs to hear it. Let's build this community together.